I've come to realize that sometimes our love becomes so intense that we start to police it, tripping over ourselves to secure it, and in the process, we smother it. It was this woman. I was in my early 20s. She had to be in her 40s, and I was still figuring out life and relationships. We met at my mom's job, of all places. We exchanged numbers in secret. We spent a few days talking, and let's just say the things that she said over the phone were out of control. Fast forward to our first late night meetup, she pulls up in a BMW X7. So when she pulled up, I get in and she immediately started kissing me, whispered in my ear, "I brought something for you." She pulls out a bottle of Crown Royal. I mentioned how nice her car was. She looked at me and says, "It's my husband's car." Turns out her husband Love had crossed a line into obsession. He checked her phone, pressuring her every move, gave her curfew. She said he loved her and she loved him, but his insecurity had stripped their relationship of all spontaneity. Right then I realized something wasn't right. This woman wasn't risking it all for me because I was special. She was risking it because she felt trapped. I didn't give her what she wanted. I got out the car, walked away without saying a word. It wasn't about to be the reason a marriage crumbled, and honestly, the whole thing turned me off. But that night still haunts me. As I got older, I heard stories from married men, stories about how their wives had let themselves go, or how the sex had become routine and uninspired. They laughed about how their side chick did everything their wives wouldn't. And it wasn't just the men. I heard my sisters and cousins, married women, say how sex had become a chore, something squeezed between putting the kids to bed and collapsing from exhaustion. They joked about how they traded passion for stability, saying you can't have your cake and eat it too. But isn't that the point of having cake? To savor it? So I asked myself, does marriage really have to be this way? I promised myself I would never be that guy, the husband who became so predictable and insecure that he kills the very spontaneity that draws his partner in the first place. Over the years, I studied the dynamics between men and women, listened to their stories, and placed together my own conclusion. It wasn't enough to just be the good husband or the safe choice. I had to flip the script. In my quest of grieving and wanting to be a better husband, I came up with this unorthodox way to keep things a little spicy in your relationship. Treat your wife like a side chick. Now, before you jump to conclusions, let me make this clear. I'm talking about an attitude shift. Think about the early days when you were dating, when you were chasing that thrill and showing her your best. You were sharp, attentive, and ready to prove that you were worth her time. So why stop now? Why let things become predictable? Let's talk about the kind of man who wins in the long run. The one who don't judge. Picture this. We're watching a reality show together, maybe something like Bad Girls Club, and she's laughing, pointing out how wild those women are. The rookie mistake is agreeing with her. Instead, stay neutral. Maybe say something like, they seem like they're having fun, or simply just stay quiet. Because deep down, there could be a part of her that admires that wildness, that freedom. She might even want to bring some of that into her own life, but doesn't know if you'll judge her for it. When you keep an open mind, you create a space where she can feel free enough to share her thoughts with you. And that, my boy, and that's when things start to get really interesting. Embrace her evolution. One of the biggest mistakes men make is expecting that their wives stay the same. Newsflash, she's evolving every day. The key is to be ready for her change without fluctuating. Don't be the guy who freezes up or tries to force her back into a similar box because it's safe. Instead, lean into it. If she starts showing interest in new experiences or shift the energy between you, don't be afraid to match it. Let her see that you're not just going along for the ride, you're driving it too. Gentlemen, when she knows that you're not intimidated by her layers, she'll reveal them one by one. And believe me, some of those layers, they're worth waiting for. Let's get real. If your marriage feels stagnant, don't look at her. First, look at yourself. The uncomfortable truth is that as men, we don't have the luxury of blaming others for what we lack. You want the excitement? Bring it. You want passion? Cultivate it. Too many men sit around waiting for their wives to fix what's going stale. But here's the thing. She's probably waiting for that same thing from you. Speak up about what you want and do it with confidence. I don't mean barking out demands or crossing boundaries. That's what I'm not saying. So let's make that clear. This is about honest, open communication that builds trust. And the thing about trust is that it's built in subtle moments. The times when she knows she can say no and you're still there, still stirred, still invested. And when she feels safe, that's when she'll let her guard down and meet you halfway, or even push past her own boundaries as a project. Ask her what turns her on, and when she opens up, Don't just nod and move on. Act on it. When she feels like her desires as just as important as yours, she'll be more open. Now let's say you've communicated, you've been open, and she's not jumping on board immediately. What do? You back off. I'm not saying give up. I'm saying respect the process. Patience is your secret weapon. Build trust and show her boundaries are just as important as your own desires. Here's the deal. Relationships are built on reciprocity. I do for you, you do for me. But this isn't just about favors or chores. This is about energy, attention, and the willingness to be vulnerable. If you want her to show you her most uninhibited side, you must be ready to show yours. Gentlemen, let me tell you something that most men do not realize. Women are inherently adventurous when they feel safe to be. If she senses even a hint of judgment from you, that side of her will stay locked away forever. But if she knows you're there for her, whenever ride she wants to take, she'll unleash that side without hesitation. Don't underestimate what she's capable of. The more comfortable and excited she feels, the more you'll discover just how uninhibited she can be. So give her the space to show it. Let her know she can bring every part of herself to you. When she feels appreciated, she'll replicate that in ways that goes beyond what you could never imagine. Gratitude makes the mundane extraordinary and turn routine into something worth anticipating for. So there you have it, gentlemen. The playbook for turning your marriage from routine to riveting. It's not complicated, but it's bold and it takes effort. Ball is in your court. Make your move and make it unforgettable.